tonight's moment of silence to our recently departed friend and colleague, Larry Clark. Would you all join me in a moment of silence? Y'all please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Ralston.
Here.
Trustee Clark. Here. Trustee Hatcher.
Here.
Trustee Morris.
Here.
Trustee Nelson.
Here.
Trustee Snyder.
Here.
Mayor Calvert.
Here. Okay. Have a motion from the board to approve tonight's agenda.
Make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Second.
We have a motion second to approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Presentations. Municipal court procedure, Veronica Williams, court clerk.
I think we have audience participation, maybe?
Oh, audience participation, I'm
I
sorry.
don't know if we do or not.
Do we have anybody?
No.
I skipped right over that.
Sorry.
I did that on purpose because she showed up. Okay, well, let's get back to municipal court procedure. Williams.
Defer to Ronnie.
You want me to stand up? Okay, no.
You stand up, walk around where
I
we.
can do whatever I want to do. Hello, people. So you all know who I am. I'm your court clerk. So I'm gonna keep this short, because I know you guys have long days and long evenings, so. But I wanted you guys to know the cycle of your courts. It's not like it used to be, but now it is very detailed. A lot of accountability with the judges and with court. People are becoming, they watch more TV, so they see how things go in court. And they try to find any kind of mistake. So I wanted to tell you, there are two kinds of, it starts with the officers. They write the tickets. There are two types of tickets. So there's the penalty assessment where they can pay it. They're written the amount and they can pay it and take a deduction, a point deduction, or a summons where it's mandatory for them to come to court. So every citation that the officers write for municipal court, your court clerk has to touch and do something with. So my goal is to just do one and done, right? I want, when they call in to pay, I want to get them paid and get it done. Because most of them, it takes a lot of stuff goes into their court cases. So they get the citation, they can call in and pay. Every morning I come in and I'll run a report to see who is paid. I'll just for those cases. So they'll get the point reduction. And then I have to send them off to motor vehicle. The only way motor vehicle knows that they have had a violation is by the court clerk. I think people used to think that it was the officers write the ticket and it goes on their history, and that's not how it works. It's the disposition that goes on to their file. So if a court clerk doesn't do the job right, and those people that are speeding and getting these 6-point tickets, 8-point reckless, whatever, if it's not submitted by your court clerk, then they got off scot-free. So that's another really important part of it. So then once that is the beginning, but it's like a revolving door. So then they come to court. The judge issues that they can have classes that they have to take. And then I have to go and enter those classes, and I have to check on the classes to make sure they pass them, give them credit. The judge can also give them a stay of execution is what it's called, meaning they can pay. Well, then I have to take those files and then I keep calling them and I send them text messages. It's a lot of work, but it's small enough here where I can do that. So I think our closing our cases is a lot higher than a lot of other places because I am so hands-on with people. And I know what the judges thoughts and feelings are, you know, in this day and age, people have a lot of issues and a lot of things come up and we're human. So I talk to them and I give them a little more time, and I'll call them and find out what's going. They lost their job. They're looking for a new job. Their kid just had to go to the doctor. So I take all that stuff into account. I have to document all those files. And then I relay all that to the judge. And tomorrow is court, and it's going to be a small court. It's 40. But I was talking to Kyra today. So the largest amount of citations I had in 1 month was 120. So that means 120 citations have to be touched. There's something I have to do with each one of those. And then let's say they decide they don't want to do their class. So then I have to call them. The judge reviews the file. The next court date, if they're not in compliance, then he has me write a letter to them. I send them a letter telling them come in or you're going to get your plea bargain revoked. So it can be a very complex, what's the word I'm looking for?
Procedure.
Procedure, good word. So I went to the last CAMCA class, which is the Municipal Association for Courts. And their next class that's coming up that I think a few people are in here are going to go to, they really want to explain to supervisors and people and then trustees and people like are on board to know how important it is where all those, you know, that your courts function right, one for the legal part of it and one for the financial part, right? Because we get monies for that stuff. And last year we had a case that went all the way to the appeals court. And so he brought it here, found guilty. He went to the district courts, filed the appeal that he was trying to challenge everything. Well, by chance, I worked with this officer at Adams County years ago. He's a smart man. So he challenged everything. So he would look at all of our paperwork. He looked at if we dotted our I's and crossed our T's. He just made sure that everything was done. And he did all these motions challenging what we do. And thank goodness we did it right. I mean, it was a long, hard process, lots of emails, lots of going back and forth, but he lost the appeal. So the conviction stood with him. So I know Trish and I are pretty proud of that because it took a lot of work for that case. I wrote notes, but I don't like to look at those. Let's see. So the judge can issue, like I said, tell me to do a warning letter. He can tell me, like, oh, I have to send a person, let's say I issue warrants. So the judge gives them 2 times not to show up for court on a summons. Then they issue a warrant. I send it over to Weld County. There's a warrant in the system for CCIC. The people are picked up. Then they're given the PR bond at court. Then they send me the paperwork saying, okay, I gave them this next court date. Then they don't show up here. So then the file goes back to the judge. He wants me to do a bond revocation. So there's just a lot of little parts. And I just wanted you guys to know that it's a lot that the court clerk does. And I'm really proud of what I've done here. And I've been on both sides. You guys know that. I've been on the enforcement side. So then I came on to do this job. And so it made it really easy for me because I know both sides of it. I can see their side and I'm very compassionate and I try to help them as much as I can. So that's what I wanted to let you guys know. Do you have any questions? Next month's going to be a humdinger, I think, because I have almost 70 on the docket and I'm hoping with my calling and text messaging, I can get them to
You
comply.
follow up with them to try to get the fines paid ahead of time?
Oh, yeah. I'm constantly looking at those files, pulling them out, letting them know. I will call them and verbally talk to them. But when I got here, I wanted to implement using a cell phone because a lot of people, these younger people love text messaging. So that made a huge difference when I text them because they don't ignore that. So yeah, I contact them a lot.
How do you handle a reminder like that? Just curious because they haven't actually been adjudicated.
Oh, to have them pay because the carrots, is, hey, I can drop it by the point reduction that's on the back of the ticket. You don't have to come to court. There's a $50 charge to come to court.
Basically remind them that
I do
they
remind
can
them
pay it.
that
Okay.
it behooves them that I don't have to see them.
Who's everybody?
It does.
Right.
Yeah, and I just send, when I send a text message, that's just, hey, this is a friendly reminder. And I've had a couple cases where it's been over a year being patient with these guys, making sure the judge was okay with that. But you know, life gets in the way with for a lot of these people. And I've closed cases that were like a year old. You know, the end goal is to close the case and get compliant. And that's with what, you know, I've done. And I like doing that. They get done with the case, they finally finish the class, I congratulate them. I'm sure the office can hear me say, that was a great job, and especially to the young people, telling them that's an accomplishment. You did this, you finished it. You should be proud of yourself. Don't come back. Don't come back. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
so,
Does the court, excuse me, does the court have the authority to suspend a driver's license for noncompliance?
no. Back in the day, they could, it was called an OJW where motor vehicle would suspend their license. Well, that is no longer in effect. We send the default, like if they don't comply with what we tell them, we send that to the motor vehicle. They note that, but it doesn't suspend it and it doesn't do any of those things like it used to. Because the courts don't feel like they should be punished and have their license taken away. So no, that's all, those are for like financial, that's all through motor vehicle, that end of it. The courts don't, we don't do that,
So all you can do is have a bench warrant issued.
correct? If they are in, no, exactly. They're not in compliance.
When you send those text messages out there to contact the people individually, do you have a link at the bottom at that link, at that text message attached that says, you know, you click on that link and it sends you into, just, if you didn't, maybe that's speed up some of the process of
I-
texting back and forth?
That- Just like our bill pay, we use express bill pay for our water bill. Well, in this day and age and with the security of people, and they call us in and they tell us their numbers over the phone, which is not secure. But express bill pay allows them to go online when they're in their pajamas in the middle of the night and take care of their court. Then we run the report in the morning, they close the case, I close it, I send it to motor vehicle and it's done. No, that costs money. So it's me that I send the little text message reminders, I put my name on there and I put our phone number and tell them to call. Because we don't have an online process.
Okay, there's no link that they could go to. Is that something that costs the town money to set a link up like that? That would, okay. Okay,
And I
I was trying to look at an option to alleviate some of the text back and forth conversations and planning, if they could just have a link to,
with express bill pay, I called and spoke to a supervisor there. It's like $1,100 for the startup. For them to initiate it since we already have online bill pay. That's just what they told me.
Just a one-time fee?
One-time fee.
I can also, I can revise the citations. So if we would like, I can have that on the back of the citation, our number, the address where to send it, and then an email address to go to. But even the email or the website would still cost the $1,000 so they can,
The
Make the
express
payment.
bill pay would cost the one time of 1,100. Yep, that's what they told me.
okay.
would that be something worth the while to save the time?
Right.
Help her be a little bit more productive, not that you're not productive, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
It would alleviate some of that, back and forth texting, I don't know, $1,100 for one time.
I mean, she does a good job, surely does, but she does a lot of babysitting these people too.
Oh, I do.
Well, I know, that's just.
And, you know, to me, I'm kind of old school, nothing against what I want to do.
It's like, if you get a ticket, you're responsible, pay your damn ticket.
Right.
I'm sorry, but that's just me.
But with that being a link that they can just click on it
Might
and
make
make
it
it
easier.
easier, and they can just,
We could look into that. I'll talk.
I don't know, it's just something maybe I thought you could look into. $1,100 doesn't seem like that big of a price for something that you might be able to save time in the office.
And once you think about that in the middle of the night, you want to grab them. Just like when they come in here and they're like, I got a ticket this morning. I'm like, for real? This morning? We're not that quick. But I will fill out their citations right there because I want that one contact, they want to pay it, they have their money, I take it. So I will enter it as they sit there and I tell them, give me 5 minutes and then we're done.
Good.
So, and another thing with that online, the state has a website and a lot of people go on that to pay the ticket. And what's not cool about it is they can go through the whole process, put their citation number, their name and all that stuff. It takes their money, but it won't, they don't pay us. If we're not part of that group, like, I don't know, Thornton, maybe Westminster, the bigger municipalities. So then they call me, or I call them saying that, you know, you have a court payment due, and they're like, I paid online, I have the receipt. And I tell them, you need to contact them at their website. They take your money, but it doesn't come to me. So then they have to wait the 5 to 7 business days for them to send them a refund, and which to me seems really unfair to do these people, but it allows them to go through the whole process and pay it. And I've had many calls like that.
If you have to chase people down or babysit them,
Mhm.
how often do they actually end up paying? Or do they just cop a plea saying, I got no money? Because I've been to court and I listened to the judge deal with that. So if you did that one-time $1,100 payment, would it really gain anything?
Only for the people who, I think so. There's a lot of times that people call in and say that they want to pay online because it's convenient. Just like for me, it's convenient. I remember in the middle of the night, oh, I have that ticket. So you can get on your phone and pay it. I mean, that's what when I went to that last class, CAMCA, that is one of the big things that they were pushing is to get an online payment to make it accessible to the people that we serve. That's what they're saying.
And I can tell you the night before court or the day after court, I probably get 10 to 12 calls if I stay after 4:30 of people trying to call and pay their ticket.
Mhm.
They're calling recreation, not sure what they think I'm gonna do for them. They're calling me and asking.
That in the
They
speeding.
call seven.
I'm like, no, this is the recreation department. And then they're like, can you transfer me? No, I cannot. One, I don't know how. Two, I answered on my cell. It doesn't work. Exactly, I know.
Tell them you take only cash.
Nope.
Meet you at the senior parking lot.
I do spoon feed them, but to me, like I said, the end goal is to have the money and the compliance, right? That's what I'm doing this for, right? I mean, we're not doing it. If you want to be real, it's for the financial end of it too. I mean, that's what helps with the town.
Well, with the complexity of what you're doing, and like Troy said, spoon feeding them, or you said spoon feeding them, to coddle them along, the simplicity of maybe having a link that they just go in directly.
We look into that. We
An
can
account.
back the ticket then, but Ronnie's still gonna call
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna still
him. I
call
mean,
them,
it's not gonna really reduce her time, except for the people who actually see, oh, I can pay online.
right?
Some people, to be blunt, they're gonna call to say, how do I pay? And then Ronnie's gonna say, send the bomb your ticket. Oh, there it is. Still gonna make the phone call.
I was gonna say though, if she could put that in her text message and it's live and they can touch it and it goes directly to it, you'd be shocked at how many more people will do it when they
And
do.
that's what I was.
Yes.
Referencing is that link at the bottom of the text message attached to it, with the phone number, if they still wanna call and talk to you and have a
In that
conversation.
conversation,
Type it in there.
I will talk to them. But Janet deals with that with the rec when people want to pay. If it was convenient for them and they click on that website, that link.
I was gonna say, when we put stuff in the newsletter and they see the website, I mean, all the information's right there. They've registered before, but the fact that they have to type it in, they're like, oh, can't do it.
It's just an internal process. There's nothing we can deal with in-house. That's all it is.
That $1,100 fee, is that one time period or per year?
One time period.
That makes it a little more palatable.
That's probably an additional fee monthly.
Yeah, we're gonna add a monthly fee to Cassell, but that's the way it
Yes, we have
works.
to
It's a
pay a monthly
module.
fee.
Okay.
That I
So
don't know.
there'll be an ongoing fee because every module you add to Cassell, there's a cost to it. So but we'll find out.
So, And
Thanks for exploring.
with Cassell, you don't have a package that could, or not package, but it comes separate addition to our program.
It's a build a suit, depending, every town has different needs because they have different modules that you sign up for.
Okay.
It's a build to suit
Well,
process.
next time maybe we have a renewal, like I said, we could look into it. There's something.
Yeah, we can look into it right now and see what it costs.
Are they still in Utah?
Huh?
Are they still in Utah?
Mhm.
Yeah, get Ocasel.
All right. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Guys,
you.
well, I'm inviting you guys to come to court and see how it works.
Thank you.
Bring your own chair.
Yeah, I don't go to court unless I have.
What time is it?
On
I
there.
don't even come to
It
this
starts at
building
one.
that day, let alone.
Yeah. What kind of criminals we got? I'm not see what I got there.
Okay,
It was my.
next item, presentation, SROIGA 2026-2027 school year discussion.
Members of the board. A few weeks ago, Carl and I met with Ken Lewis, superintendent, some building officials. We serve in Gilchrist and Platteville, Amy and Mr. Douglas and Jennifer over in Gilchrist Elementary. We started talking about the IJ renewal. She had brought up that they just approved the IJ with LaSalle. They had one offer, obviously, for LaSalle. And they're looking at doing more of a cost sharing because in the last 10 years, the school district's paid 100% of what we estimate, what LaSalle estimates for the SROs. We provide two because we also have to cover Gilchrist. And LaSalle provides one. They were finding out that more and more police departments or municipalities are chipping in. They're going like 50-50 or 75-25, which is their choice if that's what they want to commit to. So that led the conversation as, well, let's review the IGA regarding scope of services. What do our SROs actually do? So we talked to the three principals, had a good live conversation about that. We're making some edits, which are in this draft IGA. And then I brought up, I said, we took a whole building offline in Platteville last year. So we have an elementary school in Platteville. You have your two buildings in Gilchrist. Of course, you have your two buildings in the south. Is it justified to pay around $86,000 for an SRO for one elementary school? Where there's school districts in Will County where there's an SRO that bounces between multiple towns and multiple schools. So that's just a conversation I wanted to have tonight with you because we're going to have the same conversation on the school board tomorrow night. So it's not the idea of taking away from security of our kids. That's not the point. I tell you what, 20 years ago when I was police chief, we didn't have SRO. We checked in every day at the school. We checked in with the principals. The code officer would check in, the duty officer would check in. And correct me if I'm wrong, we've never had a serious incident in our school, knock on wood. We never want to have one.
Yeah, but 20 years ago, there was no school shootings.
Yeah, there was. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, it wasn't, it's not as prevalent as it is now.
I would,
Grade schools weren't getting shot up.
in all due respect, Hope, I would argue that point. I was a cop back then and I know there was incidents in schools all the time. I'm not downplaying it. I'm not downplaying it by any means.
Well,
And like Carl and I talked about, if you feel like you want to budget $174,000 for two SROs, by all means do it. I'm just having a conversation with you that we have other resources. And the school board is going to do the same conversation, and I'm sure we're going to have the same response tomorrow. But it's worth having a conversation. Is it justified? And can we provide other means for security for our schools?
We got chief works during the day and you have a officer on duty during the day, right?
Yes.
I can't think of anybody I would, if I had children in school, I can't think of anybody I'd rather have in my school than the chief walking through.
Well, and part of that, and that's a fair statement, part of that, we had a live conversation with the principals. And then Amy Herman's our principal. I said, Amy, what are you expecting as a principal for your school? I mean, what needs do you have? And she said, when school starts and when school ends, those are the two main, because the school's locked down. All the schools are locked down. You have to buzz in. So having someone available in the morning and then the afternoon makes a lot of sense. You see it there almost every day. I mean, I used to as well, which the majority of incidents happen during those two time frames. It was lunch, but we have a pretty locked down campus, obviously. But now that we don't have a middle school here, we definitely have more a strict campus because you got teachers everywhere at Putnam Elementary School. If you drive by, you can see that. But Amy's thing is, if I need somebody, I just want to call them and have them here with me. And usually it has to do with child custody. It has to do with parental rights and it has to do with restraining orders. That's what she deals with. And that's what I dealt with. That's what Carl's dealt with before too. So there's some basic needs. Have we had a high call rate in our schools? I can't say we have. I don't know, Chief.
And I'm not sure, and I don't want to sway you guys one way or another, but I did make a copy of the reports that you had this past school year. If you guys want to. Very short and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will follow that up with not every report or not every time an officer is at the elementary school is report worthy. So these are the actual reports that were warranted. These were the actual reports that were warranted this entire last school year. And I looked them up for the years before that and they were about the same in number.
So going back to the scope real quick while you look at those. We agreed, being Carl and I and the school administration agreed that we provide the two SROs. We want them to do more than show up and provide basic security functions. They needed to be more, some basically teach class in a way, not teach class, but provide more stranger danger for the elementary kids, more vape awareness for the middle school kids, more driving awareness in classes for the high school kids. So they actually have more internal functions, which is something, I mean, when I was an SRO, when I was police chief, I mean, I did the DARE program, if you may have heard about that, and I also taught the GREAT program. So I'm not asking them to do that, but they need to be, in my opinion, more engaged with the students besides greeting them and letting them go home at night. I'm sorry, I'm not downplaying it, but that's pretty much what the responsibilities are right now, providing safety and security. So I just want your thoughts. I'm like Carl, I'm not trying to sway you either way. So much curious, you have to figure after 10 years we talk about it. Especially after taking the middle school offline, which was the majority of our calls was at that middle school when we had an SRO.
I don't want to reward school district for closing down our middle school. At the same time, I still, what I said before, I feel far more secure having a duty officer going through and dedicating some time, whether it's every day or whatever it is. But another consideration is if we're going to pay part of their bill, when is Gilchrist going to say the same thing? And then we have to deal with that. Because it's the same exact scenario. So if we're going to do one, we're going to be obligated to deal with the other. And I don't really want to deal with the other.
That crossed my mind in separate but related. We have a separate agreement with law enforcement services with the town of Gilchrist. We could add that fee into those services potentially. Because right now it's for basic law enforcement. We don't charge them for SRO services.
Yeah, but our kids go there too, right? So it wouldn't be feasible for us to charge them for an SRO if our kids go there also.
Well, we're charging the school district right now for the SRO, so.
But Gilchrist isn't chipping in. And they have the
No,
facilities,
Gilchrist is not paying for anything right now.
but they have the facilities that we're protecting.
Yeah.
So. You said that's a conversation you're talking about having with them about.
With Gilchrist or with the school?
Well, I mean, you're saying there's no need for them to chip in because at this point, the school district's footing the bill. You know what I mean? Okay, so there's nothing that we would expect from town of Gilchrist. Now, should the board say, well, okay, we'll chip in half, well, then, yeah, then you could go to, then I could justify saying to Gilchrist, hey, you want to kick in for this. But at this point, that's not part of the discussion tonight. I guess what we need to decide as a board is, are we comfortable with what our town manager's proposing, that we go to a no SRO at the elementary school? Now, I think that's honestly, the first people that need to make a decision on that's the school board. See what they have to say about it before because it's their school.
Understood. And that's, like I said, that's gonna be a conversation tomorrow night at the school board meeting. Exact same. That's why they're discussions tonight, tomorrow. They're not actions. It's just dialogue. And I told Kim today when I stopped by that we were having this conversation tonight. And she had already mentioned it to two of the other 4 school board members. So you can see both sides. We don't want to reduce any safety for our kids and our staff. That's not the goal here. But you know, you have to look at what's practical. What can we provide for services? And to go back to LaSalle real quick, the school board approved LaSalle's IJs at the last meeting. So this year, of course, they're gonna maintain one SRO. They always have. This year, they're doing a 75-25 split. The next school year, they're going 50-50. cost. And I told Kim, I said, I, you know, I'm always town manager first, not school board, but I'm partisan to this town where it's like, when we had this conversation 10 years ago, it's very clear that you get that SRO 90% of their career from the town of Platteville. We get them for 2 months, and half that time they take training or vacation. They work the roads for about a month. But they're dedicated solely to the schools. So if you make a contribution to the school, you're making a donation to the school to offset that cost. That's what you're doing. That's just being blunt. That's what LaSalle decided to do. That's their policy decision.
And that's what it'd be up to this board.
Yep.
But I think we need to hear from the school district. I mean, you presented this to us, something to think about. And hope until we hear from them, if they are comfortable with it, then the real debate begins.
Exactly.
The one thing to think about maybe is, I was on board when we did the SRO thing, and I remember specifically, it was just a knee-jerk reaction. Everything, you know, everything was being, all the publicity and everything like that, everybody was expressing concern. So the SRO was, in my opinion, a knee-jerk reaction. I still feel comfortable with our PD being able to cover that in addition to their other duties, because that was part of their duties before we had a dedicated SRO, and that was the schools. The school asked for that specifically. We didn't volunteer it. We didn't say that we think that's a good idea. That was their idea.
And I mean, it's safe to say that our one SRO that would be up there isn't isolated to just those schools. He would still show up down here. Or she, our one SRO would share the two towns, but they would spend most of their time up there, be it high school and elementary school, but they would share their time here also.
There's different pros and cons. That's why we want to have the conversation. Last fall, we had one SRO pretty much covering both towns 90% of the time because the other SRO was in training in military, National Guard. And there's one full year where we had one SRO because one was gone. So there's been long stretches where we've only had one SRO anyway. I'm just saying, I mean, just because we employ two SROs.
During those times, we were only charging them for one.
And we only charge them for one, that we did that a couple years back, so,
Yeah.
but, I just want to have the live conversation. I know 10 years ago when Dr. Joe Barbie was the superintendent, Carl Harvey was the chief in LaSalle, we met multiple times talking about, at that time, it was a hot topic, you know, it really was. And it wasn't anything that happened locally. It was a national phenomenon because we had some pretty serious incidents. But we talked about some rural school districts were arming teachers. They had teachers that had military backgrounds or they were carrying CCWs. And they still today have some teachers that are armed. You just don't know who they are. Not here locally, but in rural Colorado and rural Kansas. There's some school districts that do armed security, not too many, but sometimes they hire security guards. And then a lot of districts will do SROs.
So when the school board discusses this, you'll be presenting it to them?
I had the meeting with Kim. I said, I'll be part of the conversation representing the town of Platteville, not the school district.
Okay.
They know where I stand on this. And when they vote on it, they'll vote on it July 1, before you guys vote on July 7, because that's the way, the first day of July is on a Wednesday. And the school board meets on the first and third Wednesday. So they'll vote first on it on July.
I just wondered how you
I-
handled it.
When I came on the school board, I told them this is one item where I abstained. Not part of the live conversation during the debate.
We make changes with procedure or financially, who pays for what? Does that have any effect on liability in the event of an incident or?
That's not my question. I build it.
I don't know, I'd have to look at the IGA and if there's an expectation of coverage or hours at each school and what each school is contributing in terms of, or sorry, what each.
Well, I mean, we'd only have it, if we went with this proposal here where we just have a SRO, then our only contract would be for the SRO at the high school.
Yeah. Well, even now with the two, we cover all insurance for our SROs.
We do.
Yes, we do.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question.
Sure, so we cover all insurance. That's part of our response.
Okay,
That's part of what we charge them, because there's a spreadsheet I have in my office where it breaks down vehicle maintenance, training, uniforms, the whole 9 yards. And basically it's an 80-20 percentage split, which I already do. So when Kim first brought up about doing a split, it's like, well, I'm already doing that behind the scenes. I'm not truly charging you 100% the cost of this employee. I'm already deducting basically 20%, which is 2 months roughly of the year. It's actually less than that. But
Well, I guess what I'm saying, say somebody got hurt and,
it's hard time.
and.
Or SRO.
All right, well, say,
No.
you had an SRO. No, I say there's an incident and somebody comes back and says, well, you decided not to have an SRO there and now you're liable for my hundreds of thousands of dollars of expenses because you decided to make the change.
Well, ultimately, that would be the school that decides to make the change.
I mean, that's my point.
The school would be responsible, liabilities would go to the school for that change, not the town.
They contract with us, we don't contract with them.
Correct, okay. Well, that
But if we
clarifies.
agree to share the cost,
And
does that mean we're 50-50?
Splitting the
I
responsibility.
think something that needs to be brought up too with this whole discussion is, okay, if we were to decide we want to kick in as a board, well, that high school is shared by Gilchrist, LaSalle, and us. So we shouldn't be responsible for kicking half in there or whatever percentage they want. That should be a three-way split. It's like Nick brought up there. And then we discuss our school here.
No, and it gets a little convoluted because I mean, we have kids from Evans, from Fort Lupton, all over the place, but in the high school, I'd say equally from LaSalle and Platteville and Gilchrist. I mean, I don't know the exact breakdown, but I can get that for you.
Yeah. Well,
And I'd say more from LaSalle because their middle school has 100 more kids than our old middle school used to. Because there are more out of district kids coming from Evans, LaSalle, or Evans and Greeley coming into our district than we do from the south. So it just depends on how you look at
I
it.
just brought it up kind of convoluted because our kids are up in the south. Okay.
And we have hundreds of kids that go out of district to other school districts. So it
Yeah,
depends on how you look at it.
yeah, I guess so.
Where's the meeting at tomorrow?
It's at here.
Here, middle school?
Yep, 6:30. It'll be, it's a regular meeting. Our first meeting is a study session. This is a regular meeting, so it's tomorrow night, 6:30. But
Is it in
this,
the auditorium?
is that
Is it in the auditorium?
the library?
In the library?
Yep. Yep, so the old library. So if you park in the staff teacher's parking lot, for buyers off a division and walk that sidewalk to the old science room in the cafeteria, that door's unlocked. Or you can come in the front door, read the sign and go all the way around the building.
That's probably what I do.
Just say,
Anybody else have anything to add to that? We'll find out what the school board proposes and take it from there then.
I appreciate the discussion.
Okay, we'll move on to approval of the consent agenda, which includes the June 2nd, 2026 meeting minutes, May paid bills, and May financial statements. Have a motion from the board.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to staff reports. We'll start with Rex and seniors. Danette?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You'll have my report in front of you. I'm happy to answer any questions. I apologize for being late. We have the Tuesday evening meals and that is.
We did Dr. Pay.
Duly noted.
It's fine. It's fine. You weren't that late. And you didn't have to talk till right now. You could have came.
I could have just
You
come
could have
longer
been very nice late.
and I came in with my Starbucks cup. I thought they're gonna think I went, that's why I'm late, but no, that's the cup that I got this morning at 8 o'clock. That is the time I needed it.
I saw that Yellowstone train.
Yeah. So, we had several seniors that are interested in going to Yellowstone. And with gas prices being as high as they are, I don't see them coming down enough to really make it really cost effective to be driving. So I happened to get a thing that said Yellowstone via Amtrak, so it's about $2,300 per person is what it would cost. The train leaves out of Denver. You go into Salt Lake, you stay the night, and then you get on a charter bus, go into Yellowstone. You're in Yellowstone for 2 days, and then take a train or take the charter bus back to Salt Lake, and then the train back to Denver. That amount covers everything except your meals, all your hotel accommodation and travel.
How long the trip for?
5 days. So, we'll put it out there and see how many people were interested. I bounced it off of a handful of them. And I said what the price, what I was estimating the price to be, and I was off by about $250. And that $250 is because it's senior citizens going. They recommend paying for the insurance, so if something were to happen and they weren't able to go on the trip, they would get their money back. Whereas if you just book it, something comes up, they're like, no, thanks. That goes into the Christmas slush fund. So,
If you guys do decide to do something like that, I would recommend not going till the last week of August or the first week of September. School has started and you won't have 10 million people crossing the roads.
we're looking at the third week in September for it. So then we'll
I'm
see.
not sure if it'd be, I'm not sure if first frost would be hitting then or not. That's awful far north.
You know,
Yeah.
I went to Yellowstone in June and it snowed 12 inches. And the heater in our camper didn't work. That part. You know, it was. Anybody else have any questions for Janet? Not, thank you, Janet. To police chief.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I have nothing to really add. You guys have my report though.
Any questions?
Thanks for the fireworks. We'll get that out to the community.
Sure.
Anybody have any questions for chief?
With the fireworks situation, is there a way just to control it a bit there to where maybe people can come to, I don't want to create liability, but come to the community center, have like a 4th of July celebration, but then we don't have a 4th of July celebration, shooting out fireworks. But come to the community center and maybe bring their fireworks so it's a controlled environment. I don't know if that's something we had thought about.
You mean the ones that we would look at as being not okay to light off? I mean, so are you asking as long as it's in that kind of setting and atmosphere, we can light up the illegal fireworks? Is that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
is that something that, I mean, I'm not just planting a seed of.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if there's like an issue that would come up with that you could think of.
I absolutely love that. Unfortunately, that's the state law. And then we have a little bit of wiggle room here of what we are allowed to light off and not, but the ones that go up and that's a state thing. That's
Okay.
we can't modify that, unfortunately.
How do you handle, or does anybody handle out of the city limits?
Well, County, they have just a couple of officers on, so it's very hard. And then it's even like here, if we see them, we'll respond over there, but then while we're over there and they ran away, we're seeing them lit over there, so we'll go over there. Bunch of cat and mouse games.
You don't go out there, I mean, if you have an agreement with the county.
No, I mean, I suppose if they wanted our help, we would absolutely help them on a call if,
They have to ask.
Yeah.
for assistance.
yeah, we don't help them with fireworks complaints.
So I don't know, I don't live in the center of town, but I know
On the
in
outskirts,
our area, everything's going on.
west, right?
Or you're north.
Oh, north,
you know,
okay.
And whatnot, so. Ain't like I'm gonna be able to call.
I mean, if it was right on the outskirts and whatnot, I mean, I'm sure Well County would be more than happy if we went over and and warn them. So if it's your neighbor, for example, that's right up the road that's in county, let us know. Happy to help out that, but we don't.
My dogs don't like it, but
Yeah.
it's just something we
You know,
prepare
I'm
for.
not hearing as many as I used to hear.
This year being the 250th expected.
Yeah, I was gonna
Pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have the July 1 through July 5th on the books, but you'll get, I heard some the other day over by Reed just randomly, but it's the 4th.
You know, and I can understand the 4th. It's
Yeah.
the 5th, 6th, 7th, 1st, 3rd. You know, that's when it gets a little irritating, you know, I mean, 4th
Are
of
we
July
still
is
gonna
one
have-
thing.
We still gonna have our fireworks celebration on Harvest Days?
Yeah, and today Oxy committed to pay for those fireworks again, so it's nice.
Cool.
So, and I had reached out, speaking of fireworks real quick, unrelated, but Harvest Day, I did reach out to Sharon at Tri-State. I haven't heard back from her about adding a few more minutes to it, so we'll figure something out. So a bigger, ending or something. We'll see. But
Speaking personally, I appreciate your department's discretion on this 4th of July fireworks stuff. I see them, they go, and then they leave. That's cool. You're doing what you have to do,
Sure.
but I appreciate the discretion because 4th of July.
Yeah,
We boys.
we'll absolutely say no first. If we have to keep on going over there, then their hours or citations eventually issued, but, or they'll see us and go run and we don't have a suspect. Same thing every year. Same household sometimes too.
Yes, I know, but I thank you anyway.
You're welcome.
All right, anybody else? On to Public Works, Mr. Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You do have my report like the other directors. The large air jet is actually back in the digester as of yesterday morning and it's functioning properly. They did end up warranting the issue completely, so that was completely covered. So I had a few less things that I had to say about them being irritated when I got that report back from them.
Did they cover the freight?
I haven't seen a bill for it, so I'm assuming the answer is yes on that. They sent us all of the tickets for that to all be sent to them. They arranged it all and none of it came with my name on it or with the town's name on it, so.
And you still suspected it was a electric spike? Or is that a different?
Yeah, that was a different piece of equipment. The air jet, I don't understand electrical connections as well as I possibly should. The word they used was they had incorrectly potted the cord to the pump. I don't know if that means spot welds or what, but it was incorrectly connected. And that's what had worked loose and allowed the water to get into the connection and into the motor. So they took that on themselves and warranted it and got it back to us. And we're under the assumption that it's correctly potted this time because it seems to be functioning correctly after they put it back together. The variable frequency drives at the influent pumping station, the IPS there is, normally those have a 5 to 7 year life. We're only at 4 years. We had to replace them both. And we have had significant power surges over the years as you guys are well, all familiar with our Excel power. And so even with we have on the power coming in to the treatment plant, we have an arrestor or a surge protector. And we've also added a secondary surge protector after we had some issues at the IPS that had kind of gotten through the initial one into the IPS. So even with that double redundancy on there, we still are seeing some stuff that basically the manufacturer, it was outside of its warranty period. And the manufacturer just said, well, more than likely with the significant power surges that you've had over the life of these drives, that that's a possibility, that that's probably why the life was shortened on them.
So this being and the system the way it is, how long can you go without something like this before it becomes a major issue?
Well, we had operators prepared to be there for 48 hours until we could get them and manually run the pumps.
Oh, okay, so that.
That's literally what the backup plan was. We have since, worked with the electricians and the control people and have now got a bypass put in. The variable frequency drives do exactly what the term is. They ramp the motors up and down as the demand increases. They turn up the RPMs on the motor, and then as the demand, so you're not getting that hard start of a full 60 hertz. The pump running all 5.5 horses at once if we only need 2.5 horsepower of pumping capacity. So what they have done now that we had this situation, they went ahead and put a bypass in place that if we were to lose these drives again, then we've got a switch where we can go to, when the pump is called for, it'll go full 60, full 5.5 horses versus a slow ramp up and a slow ramp down. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, okay.
So do those motors still have capacitor start or not?
I'm gonna plead the fifth. I don't know on that. I'm not in them enough to know. I guess I don't know what that means, Steve.
Well,
So
we got those lumps on top of the motors. Those are capacitors to get the motor ramped up. So you don't kick the breakers off. That's why I was just curious about that when you're talking about a variable drive. I was just trying to figure out how that works in that scenario.
I can't picture the lumps on top of the motors. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay.
But I don't understand. There's a reason I'm not an electrician and my hair is naturally curly, not from.
So the redundancy on it, so that's the redundancy. You're gonna go, it's just direct drive.
That is our solution to what happened here, where we happened to lose both of the variable frequency drives at the same time versus leaving an operator in there to manually watch the level and turn the pump on and off as needed.
Do they run simultaneously
Or
or
not, they run alternating.
just like the lift stations?
It is a lift station.
Oh, okay. The way you described it, I didn't.
The term is inflow pumping station. That could be used at any lift station. Typically, that's used right at the beginning of the plant is where the IPS is. So the main lift station that serves the other 3 lift stations pump to that lift station. That one pumps it to the headworks. That's where these drives were at. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. And other than that, I don't have any other updates. I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, no other questions. Thank you all for your reports, go.
Thank you.
Or you can hang around, except for David. That goes without saying. We'll move on to our action item. First item is Harvest Day Band Agreement. Miss Amy and the Jets. Sounds like a hot group.
This Amy the Jet Set. So, she tried to play last year for one of the Platteville Summer Nights, but that was the night we had the severe storm and they ended up in Barnes Day. But, I looked at a couple of opening bands for our main one, which is Infusion, Atomic, whatever, I can't remember the last one, but, a couple weren't available and I reached out to Amy and she plays bluegrass and she'd love to come to Platteville. She enjoyed coming here last year for Platteville Summer Nights and she'd love to be opening for Harvest Days at the Beer Garden. Her cost is very reasonable. Don't ask for a whole lot. And Amy and the Jet Sets, they were the second place in the state last year in bluegrass bands. So, I'm glad to have her. And then the main band is more by decade. I mean, it's not a US USO band, but they have music from the last 5 decades. So it'll be different this year.
Seventies classic rock.
Yep, exactly. The current. But, yeah, happy to bring Amy on board if you approve.
Okay, we have a motion from the board. Move to approve the performance agreement with Miss Amy and the Jet Sets in the amount of $800 for the opening band during Harvest Days on Saturday, August 22nd.
Second.
We have a motion second, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Ralston,
Aye.
trustee Clark,
Aye.
trustee Hatcher,
I,
trustee Morris, trustee Nelson,
Aye.
trustee Snyder.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to Lincoln Park restroom bid approval, community development block grant. Mr. Rankin?
Well, this is what David stated. That's what in the next one I have.
David?
Okay.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Mayor, this is the restroom facility that we got the funding, as I outlined in the agenda cover sheet there. We originally applied for this funding in December of 2024, so our estimates were based on an August or September estimate for the cost of the facility. So that's pushing 2 years ago, pre-fuel prices going up, pre a lot of things, and it did not have a caveat in that estimate for a quick pre-done structure being brought in or doing it on a tightened timeline. So when we originally went to bid on this in April, we got the price tag, and I was glad Troy was sitting down when we opened the bids, because I'm pretty sure he might have fallen over if we hadn't. But along with our engineers, because this was, we knew it was going to be a little more. We did not anticipate it being that much more. So the engineers went back. The company that had bid the project said that they would be able to, they thought they could actually stick build it for less than getting it prefab and bringing it in. So they went back and ran the numbers and came back with a different timeline. Obviously, we've already informed you guys that we're going to be doing it after Harvest Days versus having it under construction during Harvest Days. That would be not a great process. So anyway, the numbers came back where they're at right now. Total project cost is coming in at $307,000. We had the grant of $261,000, so that leaves the town on the hook if we go ahead and do this for $46,200. So I don't think we're going to get a new restroom for $47,000 or $46,200 very often in the future. So I think the town's still getting a pretty good deal on it. But that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. What the 46,200, is that coming out of the capital improvement fund then?
Correct, sir. It'll be capital improvement. And the reason I say that is we budgeted 250 total for the front street design, and Dave was fortunate to get that grant for us for about 147,000. So we have additional funds available. I don't think we'll go over budget or have to amend the budget by any means, as long as the year goes right. So we should be okay.
Two things.
We'll see.
One, stick built. What kind of siding are you gonna put on there to resist vandalism or tagging or ease of cleanup when it's tagged? Because most of our small buildings that are in parks are cinder block, cement block, which is more resistant to that kind of stuff. Are we gonna put ourselves on the hook for that? And are we going to put in a camera? So if someone wants to get cute, we at least have an idea where to go.
So we have not added any cameras to the scope of things right now. So that working with Telos, who has done most of our security camera work around the community center, around town hall, at Riverview Park. We've talked about putting some in. There are some on the library, but most of those don't really they might catch if there was a south end of the new structure, might catch that on one of the library ones, but that's not what the library cameras are for. And to be blunt honest, to answer the question, I do not know what the siding or what the exterior material, it would be. We got the numbers back. We wanted to see whether this was even a go to move forward with it. So, I will have to get an answer to that question because I do not know.
I watched the stuff at the buildings and stuff at Riverview, and I personally have never seen any vandalism on that porta potty. Has there been any?
I think once in a great while, somebody tags the inside more than the outside. We've had a little bit of stuff at the skate park once in a great while. But for the most part, I think the skaters and the folks that use that kind of police that themselves. But once in a while, we do have some.
I don't want to overreact and do a knee-jerk reaction before anything happens, but I was just curious about the cameras because we have had issues at the community center and do we have cameras at the baseball? Yeah,
Brandon. Well, adding cameras is not too difficult with Telos. It's wireless camera systems that we add. I plan on adding some at the nature preserve over here. I want one out the gate at the wastewater plant. So those are things we need to talk to Telos about getting done.
okay.
And then, and the inside fixtures or that, how do I describe it, David? The stainless steel,
Yeah, they'll still be the tamper resistant, I think is probably the best way to phrase it.
Jailhouse furnishings?
So,
pretty much,
to
honestly.
a certain extent, yes. So,
As you well know, I've been to a lot of baseball fields in my lifetime, and there's some pretty nicely well-built restroom facilities that are well maintained.
So we have probably Public Works would check it out and cleaning of it, and is that gonna be something that you guys handle, or we gotta?
those details have yet to be finalized right now. I mean, the porta potties that are at the parks and at the cemetery and stuff like that, we've got a contract that deals with those and getting those done. Our team doesn't do those. That's part of the monthly fee of having those at those locations. So yes, we'll have to sort out those details. But I have not worked out those arrangements yet. So
Who takes care of the ball field?
Jim, who works with Janet over there part-time, takes care of those over there.
Okay. I haven't been over there in a long time. The last time I was there, they looked good. It was hard to keep them locked, but they were good inside.
These are year-round restrooms, right? Heated? These are heated, so a lot of parks, they close them, they winterize them. These won't, these will be year-round.
Is that a good idea?
The one year we pulled porta potties out of the parks, people pull up and pee on the side of the building anyway, so I think it's a good idea to keep the restrooms open. True story. I calls.
Will they be locked every evening?
Yep.
And who's in charge of that?
We're looking at a mechanized locking system. 11P to 5A, our parks are closed, so they'll be locked at 11. Push bar to get out if you're locked in, we can't get back in, and then at 5 o'clock you unlock. Which is not part of this bid, why add that?
Okay,
Because it'll have running water, it'll have sewer tap, it'll have electricity, it'll have.
okay. There'll be heat in there. There'll have to be.
Yeah.
And air conditioning.
Ventilation.
So this bid is just specifically just the building.
It's the building and the fixtures, the connection, putting back the sod, doing the sidewalks, all that kind of stuff, yes.
That's digging the trench and the laying the line and everything too. Okay, so you guys aren't gonna do hands-on on any of that. Okay.
And this is on describe the location, just to finish this up.
It will be on the western side of the larger shelter, south of the pump house. And if you can picture the sidewalk that comes over from Frank Place to the park or to the playground from Frank Place, it's going to be just north of that sidewalk. And then the sewer will run to the south. We've got a main that runs behind the library and the museum on the north side of those, on the south end of the park, that runs over to Division. That's where the sewer line will go, and the water line will run north into Elizabeth.
We're not gonna take any trees out, are we?
No, no, the new fifth grade tree, we strategically put where we did this year to make sure we didn't have to do that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
The questions? Not gonna have a motion from the board.
I move to approve the proposal for Spear Building Group in the amount of $307,200 and authorize staff to enter into an agreement with Spear Building Group to complete the Lincoln Park commercial cleaning facility.
Second. We have a motion, a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Ralston.
Aye.
Trustee Clark. Aye. Trustee Hatcher.
Aye.
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Nelson.
Aye.
Trustee Schneider.
Aye. Motion carries. Move on to Front Street Design, cost approval.
Defer again.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Troy referred to this a little bit ago. The town applied for and we received $146,500 from DOLA. I was visiting with Chris LeMay about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And he informed me that we were the only, level one or
The tier one.
tier one project that got fully funded out of this most recent cycle. Everything else they did a partial funding on. He said he thought that was partially because we'd applied for a different DOLA grant. We got beat up so bad by the committee in that DOLA grant that they felt bad for us and gave us the full amount on this one. So what we had done was at Chris's recommendation, we had applied for 2 different types of DOLA grants because he wasn't sure where there might be enough money to fund this project, but we basically mirrored the 2 applications. They were slightly different because it was 2 different DOLA grants where the funding was coming from. But he told us that he thought that was our best chance to at least get most of the funding. I think he was pleasantly surprised, or appeared pleasantly surprised, that we actually ended up with full funding for what our request was. So the original estimate on this project was around the $296,000 mark. The EPS group came in with the final proposal at $293,000 to do the work. And so the town had set aside $150,000 in the, I believe it was in the capital portion of the streets, or in engineering of streets, right? I don't remember.
115 capital improvement fund, 100,000 in streets.
In streets, okay. And then the DOLA funds, so between what was already budgeted and what DOLA gave us, we were fully funded to go ahead and move forward with this project. You could see the proposal from EPS and what it includes. They are anticipating having all of this construction project ready to move forward by December. Actually have all of the work, all the evaluations, any of the ground penetrating radar work to locate utilities that we don't know are there, or different aspects like that. The only significant caveat is once we get UP approval, we've got to go back for UP approval. Was it within 60 or 90 days if we don't actually begin construction? And so we know that we'll have to go back to UP for a reapproval of of this work, because we're not anticipating the funds in 27. If the stars align, we would anticipate asking the board and DOLA for the funds either in 28 or 29 to actually do the construction. So.
And that would also be a DOLA project if we can get something for DOLA money, because that would qualify. So years ago, we rebuilt Strickle Boulevard with some DOLA money. Also Division Boulevard, we reconstructed it from Rand to Reynolds with some DOLA money.
If we are, like we discussed previously, if we are contemplating extending the sewer line, which makes perfect sense. I don't know why we wouldn't do it. This would not cover that, would it? Or would it? Can we ask for that?
Extending the sewer line, which direction, Mr. Nelson?
Well, isn't it on the north? Doesn't it extend under the highway and on the north side? And it ends someplace under Front Street?
And Burroughs.
So that's part of the, hidden utilities we're attempting to find. That being said, I have a set of plans that shows that it ended at Front Street when it would, or at Barone's along Front Street coming back to the south, where it would, have re-entered the UP right of way because a portion of that road curves out and then comes back into the UP right of way. When they were running the new gas line for TFP, because they had to upgrade the size of the service and put a new service in to feed the TFP facility over there, they had a private company come in and that company ran some TV cameras down, and where my map said it should stop somewhere between 20 and 40 feet, it went another 500 and some feet down the line. So we've got some additional sewer line that's already there. We just need to actually locate the manholes and figure out exactly how much.
Is that to say it goes to 32 almost?
It doesn't, that I'm confident it does not, but it goes a lot closer to 32 than we thought it did.
Okay. In your estimation, then, is it close enough that all the commercial properties there could tie on to the existing line?
I'm gonna plead the fifth again until we get some more information as to where it's actually at, and what depth it's at.
Got to meet gravity flow too without a lift station.
Yes. But it shouldn't be that tough because it goes, doesn't it, to 32? Isn't it downhill to the north?
Plateaus.
It's not?
I mean, if it's gonna be, right now, it flows to the north. And I think that, yes, the general gravity flow of the area, but over on Front Street, that portion, that southern portion, north of 32 almost goes back down to 32. It goes up just a little bit, or it's fairly level.
And we don't know the depth, so we don't know
That's the point I'm making.
the slope we can use.
Right.
So you think it's relatively close to 32? So we may not have to worry about. And I realize I'm just asking you if you don't.
I don't
Trying to figure it out.
I don't know where it is. It's closer to 32 than I thought it was. Let's put it that way.
Do you know when it was put in?
I'd have to look at the dates. I want to say that was,
Would be, the. Where's that?
What mayor?
What's that guy's name?
In the late 90s, I think.
Yeah,
Is
late
it?
90s.
Is that a Mayor Cowper
Yeah,
jurisdiction?
when that happened.
It was 98 or 99.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay,
I
good.
remember us doing it.
So it could that be plastic?
I'm 99% sure that that is plastic.
That'd be terrific. It'd be a lot easier to hook onto it.
Yeah. And basically what happened was that sewer line ran both, after it came across 32, or across 32 and a half, across the highway and the railroad, then they ran it both north and south. The maps I had indicated where it should go south, but then it said it stopped phase 1. I think they went ahead and built phase 2, and that was never noted on the plans.
So it's teed. Okay.
So it goes
And the
north.
mayor doesn't know, the mayor didn't dig the trench?
It goes north, it goes north up to
I
TFP.
didn't inspect the trenches, so.
So anyway,
Thank you.
so to answer that question, at this point, we are looking at utilities in that. But, it would not include the design of additional sewer line if we decide that's a direction we want to go. That would be something we would need to add to this project. We will know where the sewer is when we get done with this project.
Well, that does bring me to another question. If we're going to ask some of those businesses to tie onto that, we're gonna have to do, we have it open anyways, we would have to do something about that, right? At least put the curb stop in. not a curb stop, I'm thinking of water. But we would have to tee in someplace while we got a trench open, right?
That would be one way to pursue that, yes.
Or
Stop,
dig the road back up
Uh,
again.
stop and plug it, and then.
And go to the lowest point of their property or what would make the most sense, and yes, do something along those lines, correct. The kicker is, in my 30+ years of being in the sewer business, I can't tell you how many times there was a stub out supposed to be there. You dig it up and then you find it after you rip the road up and put it. So, I mean, we've got GPS technology that we can take a shot on where those are at and that kind of thing. So there's a good chance we'll know where that is, but,
Good. It'd be nice not to do it like the state does it. Make a beautiful road and then dig it all up.
we do our best not to follow that example.
Thank you.
So.
Any questions on that? You have a motion from the board.
Move to approve proposal from EPS Group in the amount of $293,000 and authorize the staff to enter an agreement with EPS Group to complete the North Front Street design and engineering project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Ralston.
Aye.
Trustee Clark.
Aye.
Trustee Hatcher.
Aye.
Trustee Morris.
Yes.
Trustee Nelson.
Aye.
Trustee Schneider.
Aye. Motion carries. That concludes our action items. We'll move to committee manager mayor reports. Start with parks, trails and trees.
Got a couple things done, since we last met. The nature reserve got officially opened. A lot of people contributed to getting that done over the last couple of years, but certainly the Public Works and LG Everest and a lot of volunteers to help clean it up from trash that has been deposited there over the years. So glad to have that done. Good turnout, I thought, and go to the river now. And then last week, and with the help of Public Works, we got the whiskey barrels placed on Main Street. David and I went out and got the potting mix from Morning Fresh. They gave us more than twice what we needed.
Oh, wow.
So that was good. And then just yesterday, Ellen and I went out to Kyoto's and they gave us about 350 plants to put in there. And then the FFA got hold of Troy today and they still have some. So there's some there that we could get as well. So, but contributions from the community for that.
Cool.
So and that's my report.
Good.
Good job.
Well, thank you, Larry. Move on to recreation.
We had our movie in the park, family game night here. Turned out being okay. I don't know if people are just out of town or not a great turnout, but still had fun nonetheless. Had a good time at the movie. Got a few other events coming up here towards the end of the year. The Touch a Truck, we haven't set a date for that yet. And then Oktoberfest, I think we're excited. Of course, we're excited about for Oktoberfest. It's going to be a good turnout there.
Is that Touch a Truck?
What is that?
Touch a Truck is, we have Public Works comes and brings their machines, their trucks, their equipment, maybe see that new bucket truck. Get some kids lifted up and down. The fire department is showing up there and helping us out, the police department. They bring the vehicles and then we do, they call it trucks and waffles.
Yeah.
So we serve food like waffles, I think, Oxy last year.
Oxy came and made the waffles
Yeah.
last year for us.
So,
Excel has committed to come
and
and
then,
bring
okay.
some equipment. I reached out to, the police, Public Works and the fire department today to get some dates. I think we're looking at the, week of the 7th or week of the 14th
September still.
in September.
Yeah, it's happening. Other than that, that's about all we got.
Okay.
Our next meeting is July 20th at the Senior Center at 6:30.
At 8:30.
I got 18:30. I started saying 18:30. Yeah, some do.
Is that 7th and 8th or 8th? Was those working out?
Okay. Move on to economic development. Tommy?
Basically, big things there is the summer nights. Everything's marching along, looking good. As per everything that we deal with right now, the biggest hurdle is the communication to people to get them to come to it. We've got some potential plans, but basically word of mouth and any sharing on any social medias or any platforms you guys have would be greatly appreciated. But other than that, it sounds like everything is marching along, and based on what my understanding is, this is gonna be a step up in size and organization from what last year they did, which
Last year
was good.
I thought they did a great job last year.
Great job.
I think that there's more food truck involvement, it sounds like, at least, and I think there's gonna be more vendors, so I think this will be great. That's pretty much all that I've got for it.
Okay.
Big thing for the committee right now.
All right, we'll move to safety.
Not really much to report. Jessica goes every month, do these safety classes, and then she brings them back to us and go through the safety classes with us. Dave, I did get with the committee, and I said when the three of us get the day off together, and we would come to you and get those signs put up.
Okay.
Is that agreeable?
Yep.
You have anything else to add, Jessica, since you're here? It's really rare to have her here.
Classes she's talking about is I usually go take, classes with like 511, USCCA, different things. The next one I'm set for is, having an exit plan in public chaos. And so it's just things, should we get more community involvement in the meetings? They're good safety tips to get out to our neighbors and people, you know, what's something you can do in this situation, or then we get safety tips from our officers that we kind of put out every month, you know, what's usually a big problem around this time of year in the community. So during the summer, every year, the most common thing is people leaving their garage doors open at night. So that's our big reminder, close your garage doors, you know, stuff like that. But maybe try to come back with something different to offer to kind of educate people to keep their families safer every month. And then we have some really good discussions about things, and then kind of pass them along to other committee members, and then they can talk to their neighbors. And but it's been a little slow just because life has been a little hectic the last couple months, but I am set for that next class. I think the 23rd.
Okay,
Thank you. We'll move on to town attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. You have my report. Mostly been working on assisting the town manager with some personnel issues and potentially looking at a couple of personnel handbook updates. And then working with Comcast on the franchise agreement that they've proposed, and hopefully present that to the board at the next meeting or so, depending on how long it takes to finalize that draft agreement.
Comcast met with us, a month or two ago, or not with you, but with me and who was it?
Me.
Yep, was that there? Yep. And just an initial invitation, and they were looking at coming into Platteville. A similar agreement with what we did with Hilltop, where they'd come into our right of ways. But unlike them, this is a franchise agreement.
That's right.
That was a right of way agreement. And we're looking
So
at
we
five,
decided to go with the franchise agreement and.
I defer to Katie on that one.
Yeah, that's just how all of the broadband service are doing these agreements now. It's a franchise agreement. It's not just a right of way, and then the town will get a franchise fee.
what's Comcast? Is that Xfinity?
Yeah,
Oh,
but the internet,
Our account.
internet, phone, cable, we haven't had
Cable
cable
service.
forever, that's a possibility. And we're just trying to bring in more services that people can select if they so choose, as far as options.
Cable just died a slow death the last time they come and pulled everything. I remember that very vividly.
That was US Cable that was in here years ago.
So they feel like,
Got 6 channels.
well, I remember the meetings. I had my ear up to the TV wide open. You couldn't hear hardly anything. Do they feel like the demand has returned?
You know, when they were having a meeting with them, that was my major question. I mean, is it feasible? I mean, are you gonna make money? You know, but they obviously feel they can make money. So, I mean, that's up to them, in my opinion. That's their business decision.
And they're gonna be laying hard line like US Cable did?
Or like Hilltop did.
We're gonna make them go underground, yeah.
So,
I'm curious. I hope, I hope it works for them this time.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it. They treated us talking to them, so.
And that would be just TV, or would that be telephone also? Or would that be the
The
whole,
internet,
maybe?
the internet and TV,
Everything.
internet and cable.
So wouldn't that be competing with the people who already have a franchise with us?
It would be competing with the broadband that we have right now.
Yeah, Hilltop, that's their competitor.
Comcast and potentially T-Los and.
Yeah,
Okay,
If they want to compete, it's their choice.
Free market.
yeah, no, I don't have any argument there.
Is there, have you been working with the agreement there for the soccer fields? It was brought up at our last, or just talking with Tim there.
Yeah.
Just curious on how that was coming along.
We haven't heard back from them. I'm gonna follow up with them and see if they have anything. I mean, we sent a pretty extensive red line just because of how encompassing their agreement was.
Okay.
And haven't heard back from them, but I'm gonna follow up tomorrow morning.
Okay. Yeah, it was brought up at our last rec meeting. I just want to follow up, see how that was going. I haven't heard
Yeah.
anything for a while.
Haven't heard anything from them.
any other questions? No, thank you. Move on to town manager report. Rankin?
Thank you, Mayor. A number of things I mentioned that I summarized with all the grants for the year, which I'm proud that we've obtained quite a few grants over the last year, a couple more next year. Pleased that our MMOF money for the sidewalks for downtown will probably come in this next year. I'll believe when I see it because it's federal funds, but right now they're saying that we'll get those monies, close to $700,000 to do sidewalks in the 500, 600, 700 blocks of Main Street, the 300 block of Marion, which they all need it pretty bad. Marion, especially on the north side, that'll be completely reconstructed. And then ADA compliance will be a key challenge because the businesses on the east side of Main Street where Dr. Green and the Silver Spur, you could not get in those in a wheelchair unless you ramped. So there'll be challenges down there. So we already talked about harvest days a little bit. I want to focus on TFP. It's been a topic in the last month. I should have received today. I'm waiting on an email from, his name is Miguel with the Will County Health Department. So over the past month, I received two complaints and 3 inquiries about the noise coming from TFP. And it's their grinder pump and the blowers. If you look at the top of the old Butterball or JD High School silos, it's not the big white machines on the south side, but on the north side, it's the smaller gray ones. Those are the blowers. And when they're in full operation, a couple weeks ago, you could definitely hear it, especially if you're over by the energy park. Last Thursday, I'm just paraphrasing here, Josh Evans, I've been working with him for the last month. He ordered a silencing equipment, which of course are not completely silent, but they were installed last Thursday upon on those blowers on the tower. It did make an impact and make a difference. The pitch came way down, and then the humming is still there, but it's been reduced by about 10 decibels. The reason I say that is over the last month, I've downloaded 4 decibel reading apps on my phone after doing some research, so they're unofficial. I monitor every morning, and a lot of times I'll go out over that night. Weld County has the official decibel meter reading equipment. So Miguel and Cassie with Weld County is working with me to do the readings before operations at 7 and then after operations. They have to do baseline readings because you have a lot of highway traffic, you have trains, you have helicopters, so they have to do multiple tests to see what TFP is actually producing or close to producing in decibels. To go in a little bit more detail, if they reach 55 decibels, and there's variations to all this, obviously, I'll give you the official report once I have it. If they get 55 decibels or below, they can operate 7A to 7P, which is what they're currently operating. When Josh was here from Texas last week, he and I both unofficially tested it. It ranged from 51 to 55. It fluctuates. Like your blood pressure, they're the same every test. It's the same, you know, the noise changes. If it goes below 50 or closer to 40, they could operate overnight. I told you, you're not doing that right now. You're gonna do daytime only, no Sundays at all. And they want to go 24/7. I said, well, you have to meet state standards. So until they meet state standards, that's my job, is to make sure they meet air quality and noise state standards.
I don't hear them at all, and
And that's just it. I've asked some people to go out and just listen, and some people hear, some people, every person has different frequencies that they hear on their ears. I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah, 'cause
That's what I was saying. I know, I'm-
Get closest to them.
I don't hear them at all.
But it can be heard. I mean, I've had a few people go out there and just walk the sidewalks in the energy park, and depending on the wind and the time of day with traffic, it's louder. I mean, a couple hours ago, I was at the T-ball field. I didn't hear a thing except for kids just playing ball, but it's also rush hour. There's a lot of highway traffic on 85. So I want you to know I'm definitely working on it. Josh,
Anything on odors? Because
I'm not smelling.
my wife
nothing.
pointed out some
random
on what's that thing called next door?
Yeah.
Pointed out somebody was complaining about odors, and I haven't smelled anything.
I haven't
Heard
either.
anything or smelled anything. I guess I'm just
Yeah,
downhill.
I have, but they're obviously cooking grain.
It's like when it was turkey feed.
Yeah, they're just cooking grain. So my wife made a comment about it. And I said, that is cooking different kinds of grains, smell different. They're not cooking horses.
or fish.
Seriously, like that. The question I have with the noise, we're not confusing TFP with Bay State, are we?
Well, and that's a whole conversation. Bay State, I've had people complain about Bay State for 20 years that live along Vasquez Boulevard, and they're 24/7 operation.
Well, they have to, I
They
mean,
have their equipment, obviously, because they're
Yeah,
rain
blowers.
and there's blowers that are going, but TFP is a new kid in town. They're bidding so much higher on that, where Bay State's a little lower, where it is emitting across. And I swear, there's times where I've tested it on 32.5 closer to where you guys live, where Nick lives, or Ronnie lives. It seems to be louder than it is on Energy Park Drive. It's almost like it bounces off Oxy's building and goes through Schultz subdivision sometimes. And then sometimes,
Have you?
I hear it once in a while. It's definitely it's not a constant.
it's a
Same with the
constant.
smell.
Yeah.
I think the smell has to do with mainly the wind direction.
Yep.
Because there's 2 nights in a row it smelled, but it was between a certain time, and I haven't smelled it since.
Yeah,
So it's very inconsistent. It's not like
it's
they're cooking at
random.
a certain time and you smell it every time during dinner. It's not like that. It's just direction of the wind. But
So,
there is a bit of an odor. I mean, it's not obnoxious, but
so what Josh told me is they hired a third-party consultant to come in monthly, do air quality testing randomly, different times, different days. And then Danielle with the same group with the health department, she does the air quality testing monthly. And then Miguel and Cassie, there's 3 of them that I'm talking to. They come in randomly, and they came in yesterday and they came in last Friday to do the decibel meter reading. I just don't have the results yet because it takes time to dial it in. Because there's so many factors that they have to come up with or dissipate as far as noise. So working on it. It's better. It's not perfect, but when Josh and I last met Thursday before he flew, or Friday, actually, Friday morning before he flew out to Texas, Worked on this, had design. Once I had the meter readings, I send that to him. And if they're consistently not below 55, or I told him 50, because I want to go a little bit lower, then his engineering team is designing these 10-foot wide, 15-foot tall cloth sound barriers like they put around oil sites. They're just smaller capacity, and they'll cover the east, south, and north, or the west, south, and north sides of the top of that building. So the sound will go east and north, and up, basically straight up. And that's what happens in the Will County. You have gravel pits like Brandon on 66 and 19, huge dirt berms. They're pushing the noise and sound up. And oil fields the same way. Used to use hay bales, didn't work. Build these big walls and it pushes the noise up. So they're trying to do the same thing out here. But I just want to brief you on that.
What's the standard? Are you gonna take a decibel reading like so many feet away, or how do you?
Miguel told me they go within 50 feet of the property line. And it's misleading because if you go to 50 feet at the base of TFP, it's misleading because the noise is up top. So that's your standard, but then they go and I sent them a map of Ronnie left. I sent Ronnie's house. I sent Nick's house. They don't know where you live or they don't know who you are. And the house over here, Nick Silbaugh, talked to him and his wife. And then Jennifer Phillips on farther north. They all talked to me about this. So they're testing near their homes randomly throughout the week, just to gauge those. Residential's 55. Generally speaking, there's more to it. And then light industrial, which that is zoned, is 65 to 70, just depends. Heavy industrial is higher, but we don't have heavy industrial. Commercials between the two.
But say if it's 65, it's at the location or at my house?
So at that location.
At the location.
It needs to be 55 or less anywhere residentially. So I was over there Saturday night and I had it on my phone and the blowers were still going. The grinders go to about 7, then they go off about 7, then about 8, you'll hear a little bit noise for about a half hour. Those are blowers cooling off all the equipment for the night. And those aren't near as loud. So, but, oh yeah, I check it probably half a dozen times a day. I go for a cruise and then at night, in the evenings, I'll go over there and just park, turn my Jeep off, test the,
Across from Oxy,
yeah.
is that one of the ones that you've heard from? Okay.
Yeah, the one that's away from the other homes,
Uh-huh.
that's Jennifer.
I couldn't think of her name,
And her
sorry.
husband, he works
Okay.
out overseas, I think.
Yeah, she saw me and said something to me and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, she called me, Cindy called me for over 32.5 shilling and, there's a few others, but.
Outside touching grass.
Inside all day today.
It's hard to hear TFP and Bay State at 2:30 in the morning over the train whistle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I can't complain about anything if I can't complain about that train.
It's the highway.
I like that sound.
Do you?
It's a big iron road, man.
As soon as I get more information, I'll give you a report.
Okay. I don't have anything to report to you today. We haven't already discussed. Anybody here? have
I had a
something?
question there. We discussed about the scouring over there at that, retention pond by the ball fields on the east side. We contacted the property owner there possibly about getting some riprap in that big pit
Yeah,
and the agreement of the water being dumped in
I
there.
need to talk to him about that.
Okay,
We had the conversation. When I talked to him last week, I just forgot to bring it up.
okay, all right.
Yep.
There's something else I wanted to. Oh, with the ball fields there, is the scoreboard not working on that east ball field?
So we
Can we get
need
that?
to get we had to order new electrical for it. And we got that in, but Jim is insistent that it is gonna require an electrician to come out and install it. I don't think that's the case. I need to talk to David, see if Mike can come over. I think it just needs to be put up the same as it was before. It may need a box to go around it. It's a bigger setup than what, but they changed how it was. And now it's basically the score thing like you have at the school. So, I mean, it's not like the little remote that we had before that you could give to a parent. This is like a board.
The new one that would replace it,
Yeah.
can we get that one back? Like.
No, they don't make that remote one anymore.
Is there something that we can look at? The reason why I'm asking, cause we don't have lights in the ball field on the west side. We have lights on that east side, and it's a cosmetic thing when you go out and watch a baseball game, that you can sit there and see the scores, the innings, everything. You don't have to sit there and try to memorize it yourself.
You don't have game changer on your phone like all the other parents?
No. I try to sit back and enjoy it and put the damn phone down. So the more time I can put that thing down, the more time I have but I just would like to see if we could look into getting that ball
We'll
field
look at it.
scoreboard working again.
We'll look at it tomorrow and
Okay.
Thursday.
There's plenty, like, we talked to Ron or David has another electrician
I'm
crew.
pretty positive it doesn't require an electrician, but. Jim,
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't make everybody happy.
Just get it fixed.
we are not bacon, Troy.
Have we ever used those announcer booths on top?
Years ago, many years ago.
This is not something that,
During the harvest days, and this is before Janet's time, Gordon, that was his claim to fame. He'd go up there and he'd announce the games during,
okay.
that's when we had 24 teams playing softball. But it's gone to the wayside. We don't even have softball anymore.
It's really hot up there. There's no airflow, even with the windows open. It's just
Oh, yeah, the
hot.
concession stands that way too.
Yeah.
All chocolate in the bags, so I can discount at the end of the games. Anyway, I was just wondering if it would be something that would be appealing for, maybe to attract more, clubs to come play here in Platteville.
That's a curse word, clubs.
Sorry. Franchise. I'm new to this.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, I don't know.
I will say, on that note, I went down there talking to Jim, the fields are immaculate shape. They're in really good shape.
Yeah. They do look good.
I mean, it's just, everything's cleaned up and it looks really nice down there.
Anybody have anything else? If not, we'll adjourn.
Fun. And get past the new Saturday, do a big job.
I was gonna say, they were texting me by